This video is going to need a very strict disclaimer warning. Honestly, I might overglaze this game quite a lot. There's a couple of things that kind of irk me, but for the most part, I'm going to glaze the ever-living shit out of this game. Chaos Zero Nightmare as a gacha game is probably the first time in a long time I've said that I have had fun playing a gacha game. A lot of things seem fair, and also secondary disclaimer before we really get into it. I understand if you're not a card gamer, you don't like card games, you don't like roguelikes and stuff, it might not be for you. It just might not be your game. If you're just like I like an open world exploration type game, this game isn't it. If you're here for deck building, you love cards, you love being able to craft strategies, craft different strategies, multiple strategies and builds for different characters so you can build different teams with the same characters, this game's gonna be for you. If you like feeling rewarded, this game's gonna be there for you. All right, if you want free-to-play accessibility, this game's gonna be for you. So let's start with that. So how much money have I spent in this game? Zero. I have spent none. I have spent not a single dollar. I haven't even bought in the battle pass yet, and I am having a blast. And the other thing is, a lot of the times, like if I'm playing like a gacha game for the first time, whether it's like Honkai Star Rail, Genshin Impact, you know, a Theory Restart, most of the time I'm like, yeah, I kind of feel like I'm pressured into buying the battle pass. I kind of feel like I need those resources, right? I kind of feel like I need this bottom tier thing to level up. But if you look at what's available here, it doesn't really matter all that much. I mean, it's some EXP things. I have so many characters at level 40, which is the cap right now for me real quick before we get into the level 50 cap in a couple levels, that I don't need any of this stuff. This is just leveling up EXP stuff. It's fine. Like, are there a couple pulls in here? For sure. Is there like a partner at level 30? Like, for sure. But I have not felt like I needed to buy the battle pass, so I just have not bought the battle pass. I've never felt like I have not been able to accomplish anything. I've never felt like I haven't hit a wall is the big one, is really what I'm getting at. I have not hit the proverbial, you know, gacha wall for you must grind X more levels before you can do the content yet. It seems to have a very nice linear progressive curve up there, whether it's the main story missions that you can do or these battle missions that unlock, right? These are the latest ones that I've unlocked even on hard mode here. And it's nothing dumb. It's nothing like, hey, you need to be like level 50 to fight these guys. I think these guys, if you look at them, they're level 40. I'm level 40, right? As long as you're working on the characters you're working on and you level up and you go and get a couple of the materials that they give you a lot of the times too and progress and level your characters, you don't really hit that wall where it's like, uh-oh, you need to go grind for a bunch of gear. You need to go do this a bunch of times. There's not really a lot of grinding. All of the grinding stuff that is in the game is in this sort of simulation realm here. And there's different stuff for, you know, combatant EXP, partner EXP, leveling up the potentials for your abilities, which is more like passives in this game than actual abilities, as well as leveling up the gear. So that's all good, but let's talk about the energy system in the grinding, right? So the energy system, a lot of the time so far it's felt almost just enough. I have had to use some of the recharge aether things that they gave us, which is fine, it's part of the game, but it's felt just enough so far. And let me explain that for you. So when we go ahead and look at our combatants here, I have 6 characters at level 40, 1 at level 30, and a couple of them at level 20 down here. The game wanted me to level 4 characters to 40, and I wanted to work on, or 6 characters, mind you, and I wanted to work on like 2 different teams anyways, so I did this. Now, when it comes to grinding their character stats, the EXP for the character, the EXP for like their weapon, which is called a partner in this game, the amount of time and energy needed to do that, I felt like I didn't really have to focus too hard on it. I would just go in there and do the battle and it'd be like, you have the stuff you need to promote your character, because until this level at 40 to 50, this final level gap break here, or 60, I guess, I haven't needed the legendary stuff yet. It's all like the blue or the gray stuff. And it would just take me like a couple of runs to go and get that stuff, whether it's for the character or for the weapon. It costs 20 per run and you get like a fair amount per run. You would be able to spend like, you know, a little bit that refreshes each day. You can also go grab a coffee for free to get 80 energy and go slam that in there. And I was able to keep up on working on my main team, both the characters and the weapons, without feeling like I need to go massively refresh a ton. I used a couple of the free things, but that was about it. So as far as needing to grind EXP for your stats and your partners, not a big deal. The other one down here though, which we'll get into, is the potential here. So the potential one also so far is not that big of a deal, but this is going to lead into potentially a gripe of mine with the energy system. So what this is here, this is just some of the basic passives and damage percent bonuses that your character is going to get for using certain cards, or just boosting their crit chance and crit damage at some point once I can level them up to 50. At the start, you don't feel like you need to level a lot of the stuff, and actually a lot of the times you don't need to at all. A lot of the characters you're going to use, you want to have this one so they get an epiphany when you go into a chaos run, so you can get one of their cards faster. So you can start that roguelike experience and deck building experience a little bit faster, and this is just like 4 gray things that you need to get. These 3 here, they buff your damage for either basic cards, neutral cards, or unique cards. A lot of characters really sort of use one of the two. They either use unique cards a lot when you're getting into builds, or basic cards a lot when you're getting into builds. Tressa was my first character, and a lot of the times I was using her basic card a ton, and so I leveled this a little bit. But really it's the unique card that she uses a ton now, so I've been putting my effort into that, and I'm kind of level capped on that one. The big one here for all the characters for the most part though is this little big node on the right, and it's not that hard to get to. I think it's like 15 or 16 of the blue stones. You can get those in like 2 or 3 runs for the most part, and you can also, you know, upgrade and craft stuff. You can see I have 51 of these still, and you can merge and dismantle just like you can in most other gacha games, to make sure that, you know, if you get unlucky or whatever, all I get are blues and I need grays, you don't got to go back and spend energy to rerun it again. So far, this has been okay. Now, I will say though, we'll have to find out that getting into the legendary stuff, I'm worried that it might be just a little expensive. As you can see, this is 16 legendary things I'll need to get at level 50. And if we go ahead and we look at, I don't want to level that. If we go ahead and look at the dungeon, they're 20 each. So far, it's been pretty decent at giving me the rewards I want as far as the amount that they give you per energy spent. It's been fine. I'm hoping that it stays the same all the way up into level cap for all the different stuff that we need to go and farm. So this one I will say is totally fine right now. Worried that it might get worse later, but I'm not going to prejudge the game on that. One thing I will judge the game on though is I feel like when you come into farming gear, I don't know how relevant this stuff's going to be yet. In the final tier of upgraded gear will be unlocked when this account hits 40, which will be like the yellow gear. This stuff is pretty expensive to farm. So one run will get you like, I don't know, if I was to go do a dungeon run right now, I'd get like, you know, 5 to 6 pieces of gear, and it'd be like half greens, half blues, and that costs 60 energy. A lot of the times right now, early on, you're not pressured into farming a whole bunch of gear. The only person that actually has like any real set bonuses I care about on is my Tressa, and then I think I have my other DPS here is Maylin, who's got some critical damage for 1 drops. It's the deck I have built around her, which is super cool. We'll get into that too. But you don't really need to do that for a bunch of other characters. All my other characters have like random garbage on, and I'm able to do, you know, content in the game just fine so far. What I am worried about though is that harder chaos-based stuff where you don't get to take your save data and where you do start fresh per run will be heavily influenced by the quality of your gear, of your memory fragments. So right now, it doesn't really seem to matter that much. Like the substat stuff on this, like we're not making big strides in stat bonuses here for upgrading gear. It doesn't seem to matter all that much. But I am worried that it will be, you know, something that is far too expensive for you to expect to get any sort of decent return from if you want to sort of make your characters better in that regard. It is far and away one of the least impactful ways for you to level up your characters in comparison to the decks that you can create for them, but it still does exist. There's no like, all right, I hit level 30 and now the game wants me to go craft perfect plus 15, you know, memory fragment gear and make sure all of my stuff's maxed out before I can do anything else. That is not true at all whatsoever. A lot of the bulk of the content in this game, when it comes to building characters and perfecting stuff, it comes to your playstyle, the teammates you want to use, and how you construct those characters' decks, which is why I literally cannot put this game down, and I'm having so much fun with it. If you are someone who likes card games, someone who likes to be able to have the freedom and the agency to sort of fine tweak a character's build towards what you want to do with them, then this is a game that you're probably going to have an absolute crazy amount of fun with. For instance, like this Tressa build that I have here, right? The thing about it is that it's entirely based around using her with 2 other builds I made for 2 other characters. And it's just all about this shadow reload thing, where it's just like anytime you heal, you make this puny little dagger, right? Which no one really cares about. But when you put this team in action, guys can go check it out. It becomes like this crazy, like Magic the Gathering legacy, you know, high tide Tendrils of Agony storm deck, where you're just popping off, chaining a bunch of stuff, reusing cards out of your graveyard for free, generating mana, drawing cards, completing this quest over and over with the Pop-Eyed Popper quest from Cassius, doing a bunch of stuff, and then just raining daggers down on the enemy. It is so cool, and I base that entire team idea around one card from one person. So there's a lot of stuff that you can do when it comes to making cool builds for your characters, and it all revolves around the roguelike game mode, which is why I love this game so much. Is I've always said in so many games that including some sort of roguelike game mode just gives you free replayability, and that's what this Chaos Manifestation thing is. Now I'm going to glaze this mode for a while, and then I'm going to hit it with a little bit of what are you doing? So the amount of gameplay that you get from these different Chaos missions is just awesome. It doesn't cost any energy. You can play it as much as you want, and you'll ask, why do I want to play it? Well, you get the rewards, and then on top of that, you increase the exploration level to give you more rewards for equipment inside of these Chaos areas on top of that. But the main reward for running this is being able to build up your character builds and your character decks to take them in and use them in the other game modes that it'll unlock. And I love that someone finally put in some roguelike stuff. And this is a big reason to play the game. And I like it because it's free, you get progression on it, and it's the main way you get to experience and give yourself some player agency in the characters that you're using and the builds that they have. You can run through with the same teammates if you want to and make different builds for each of them each time, save them all, and you'll permanently have them to use in other game modes. Now, there are a couple of things that I do want to address here. Some players, you know, say that like some of them last too long because, like, yeah, some of these get pretty long, where it takes like maybe like a half an hour to 45 minutes to do the whole thing. It is quite long for a gacha game to do that. However, there is in the actual run itself these little teleporters that'll temporarily save your stuff, teleport you out, and then you can go run and do whatever else you want to do in the game, and it won't mess with your run. You can also, if you just, you know, want to finish it, but you can't, you have to turn your phone off or whatever, it doesn't disconnect you and it doesn't lose your run. From my experience, I've turned my phone off several times, and the next time I've logged back into the game from that device anyway, it just says, hey, you were in progress with this thing. Do you want to continue or do you want to leave? And I'll just go hit continue. The other thing here that a lot of people don't seem to like sometimes, and I think it's people who aren't into the deck building aspect of this game, is like the RNG of what I'm doing here. Like I'm playing this and I'm not getting the right stuff, or I'm playing this and I have something in mind. That's just part of like the roguelike stuff. I'm not sure exactly what people are talking about RNG. Like I think like any roguelike, if you get like a really bad start, you run into like a boss early on or whatever, he might beat your ass or something. That's happened like 1 or 2 times. I've used like characters that I didn't know if the team worked out super well together, and I kind of ran in there and they kind of beat me down, and I was like, I guess that's unluckers, but I'd ran right back in there with the same team again and beat it all. So as far as RNG of the gear and stuff that you get, that's part of the game mode. And one of the things that I actually like about the game, because you can go in there and you're being like, all right, I have this thing in mind for these characters. I kind of want to do this. Let's see what I can get. Let's see what I can piece together, and let's see how broken I can make it. And if you navigate through the roguelike areas, you play something like Slay the Spire, normal monsters, question mark areas that random chances occur, and you'll do like an event or whatever, and you have choices. Sometimes the choices in this game allow you to just, there's a fourth hidden choice where you like attack the guy who wants to ask you a question and you kill him, and then there's like, oh, well, he had a legendary weapon on him. And you're like, oh, okay, cool, thanks, man. But you go through there and you do a bunch of cool stuff and you take it all out. I love that game mode so much. I'm glazing it so hard. Now, the one thing that I will say about this mode is that people don't like that RNG aspect, and I honestly don't have an answer to that. It's just gonna come with the heart of it being a roguelike, right? And sometimes, you feel like if you get real bad RNG, you didn't really accomplish anything. But at the end of the day, you might not have accomplished getting, the deck that you wanted. But if you make it to the end, or if you make it part way, or you get almost there and you die or whatever, you don't really lose out on a ton of stuff, and you still get like your exploration stuff. Also, on top of that, if you make a really cool deck, you get all the way to the boss and you get absolutely ass blasted. Well, the game allows you to recover the deck that you would have gotten, which is this little center here where you take someone to therapy, okay, and you cleanse their mind, and they have like a broken fragmented mind or whatever, and you can't use that deck until you save them, basically, which is like, okay, fine. There are a little bit of tweaks I could see though, and the main thing I'm gonna say about this chaos mode that I dislike a lot is it's either a bug or it's working as intended and the players will never know what it means with this save data value down here in the bottom, right? It changes from normal to high to advanced to giga high depending on where you go, and the quality of the deck that you can bring or save is influenced somehow by the save data limit. Sometimes it seems to just add random cards back in and ruin your deck. Sometimes it doesn't. Like this one here, I went in, it didn't really add anything back in, and it's 47,000. Super cool. This deck here, I think it added like this back in, and like one of her other things, I think it just added this flame dragon thing back in for some reason, and it doesn't tell me why, right? So if you're going in and trying to make a specific like low count deck, which I do a lot of the times, I have had a lot of issues with the game just saying, no, we're gonna add some cards back into your deck. Like this deck I just made for Cassius here, and it's a pretty poppin' deck. What shouldn't be in it though is I took this card out, it shouldn't be there, and I took this card out, it shouldn't be there. It wasn't there. We beat the run, we flawlessly executed everything, got out. I'm like, baby, we're eating good tonight, right? And then it was like, oh, nope, you got some trash cards that you specifically went out of your way inside the chaos mode to earn extra money, to then go visit the shop, to pay an exorbitant amount of money to take the cards out of the deck. Like I made the run harder for myself so I could be rewarded at the end even greater. And the game doesn't tell you why, doesn't tell you what to avoid, doesn't tell you when you're limit capped, doesn't tell you what's going on. It also just might be a bug. I don't know. I'll try to remember to put the customer service ticket response up in the video as well. And it just adds random garbage back into your deck, which defeats the entire purpose of the game mode. So after glazing the mode for hours, there is a couple of things that I do not like. Other content, there is like a tower mode, this Dimensional Dawn, Dimensional Twilight thing, which I can't do this one until I'm 50 yet. But this Dimensional Dawn here, it's your typical garbage gacha stuff. I was working with an Orlia team, which is not good in this mode. So this is my main complaint about this mode, is that this mode is the antithesis of the rest of the game, because just like with everything else, apparently, you're rated based on how fast you can clear it. And there's a ton of characters who like to be this tank down, slow and steady style, sort of gameplay, like a fair amount of them, where you like they want to cycle through the deck, they want to hold cards, retain cards for big combos, right? They want to hold cards like Orlia does and generate stronger pets. You don't have time to really do that in here. And if you do have time to do that in here, it's probably because your other characters carrying the crap out of your slow ass characters in your team. So I don't really like the fact that this performance criteria is based on like clearing it effectively. It also doesn't seem to really mesh well with the rest of the game in here, because you're in here to clear it really fast, and all of the mechanics of like stress meter and stress gauge and like all the darkest dungeon type mechanics, we'll call it, just don't matter in here. Like you're not in here long enough for it to ever happen to you. So it's just like a DPS race against somebody, which I don't really like this game mode for that reason. It's just kind of one-dimensional, one-sided, and the rest of the game is so unique and so awesome that this just feels like, yeah, it's there, it gives you rewards and stuff, it's fine, but it's just like, it's just your regular gacha fare, which typically I wouldn't really complain about. It's like, oh yeah, the game has a tower. But in this game, because the rest of it's so unique, I am gonna draw this one up as a complaint. I think this needs to get worked on a little bit, because it's not like it's bad or hard or whatever. Like, I did all this with my eyes closed, and then I used Orlia 3 times, and that didn't work out too well. I just wanted to test her out, and not good in here. But yeah, the time limit thing, I don't know, make it like stress related, or do something else to make it related to the rest of the mechanics in the game. There is going to be some other stuff too. They do have events. The first one here was fairly easy. It was just like a story mode for this. There's this trauma code stuff for you to get in here and do. There's just a lot of stuff in here that you can do, which is cool. There's that one there, and then there was another one. Let's complain about that too in a second, shall we? Another one down here that you can unlock with this key that you buy once per whatever, and it's just like some stuff to do. It gives you, you know, stories. You have to go back and make different decisions. It's fine. It's not like crazy cool content. You know, I'm not ever been like a crazy story buff or anything in any of these games, but it exists. It's funny. I know someone was playing with I think my friend was playing around with Haru, and she was about to hit the mental break, and I was like, oh no, she's gonna cry about her mom. And he was like, oh, she do cry about her mom all the time. So there's that. That's a thing that you can do with limited rewards. They don't take up too much time. And then there's going to be the Basin of Hyperspace Dimensional Dust at 50, which we'll talk about. And then Zero System, which I can't show you on this account right now, but it's basically just like the Chaos System, but with like different effects you can put on your own team, right? You can make certain things harder and get more rewards in certain regards. Like, oh, the enemies do X% more damage, but you get this benefit, you know, things like that, and you get to pick them and go in there and do that. So it's pretty cool. It unlocks at 40, but there's going to be even more content for us to do, which is great, which is fantastic. I think there's just a bunch of stuff. I've been playing this game almost nonstop, and the amount of theory crafting that you can do if you're someone who likes deck building, deck design, dude, this game, you're going to get addicted real quick. So we should probably touch on the gacha mechanics in this game too, because the gacha mechanics, I called it out. I had a lot of things to say about it when it was first revealed. It was going to be everyone's limited, 50-50 pity, 50-50 weapon banner pity. No one went to the base banner after their banners were gone, but let's check this out now. So if you go ahead to the probability info, probability guide, it's got a 70 pity, which is great. If the target does not appear on the 70th rescue, you're guaranteed to get it. And then on top of that, there's like, I want to call it like a hard soft pity. It's like a soft pity that increases over time. So for instance, right here, the base probability, which is 1%, is from pull 1 to 57. And then the acquisition rates of the 5-star target from 58th pull on increase by 4.5% each time until the 69th pull. And then if you get it on the 70th pull, super cool. And there's a 50-50 still, which is wild. And then it resets the 50-50 pity after you pull it, guaranteed. But there's a super soft pity, which is very nice. It starts, 1% all the way up, then it's 5.5, and then it's 10, and then it's 14.5, and then it's 19, and then it's 23.5, right? And then it's I don't even know, big math, like 28 or something %, 5-star rate on a single pull, which is very nice. I think right here as well. Once the combatant rate up event ends, the 5-star rate up combatant will be added to the standard rescue pool. Amazing. It may become a rate up target again in the future. That's cool. And then I think in here it said something about your pity carrying over, but at this point in time, I can't find it. I know someone linked it to me earlier, and honestly, I could sit here all day and I won't be able to find it because I'm just that dumb. But I'm pretty sure it does carry over. The weapon banner here as well no longer has a 50-50. So if you want to get like this right here, Astra, if you just go to probability info, the only 5-star thing that you can pull on here is her. No, there is no off banner. There is no off banner 5-star cards on here. So if you want somebody's like unique weapon or whatever, unique partner, if you go for pity, you're going to get her. There's no 50-50, which is definitely a big plus in my book. And then the rate up pity here for this as well also does have the soft pity as well. So there's soft pity. There's characters that are limited going into the base version as well after their banner rotates off. I don't really hate this all that much, to be honest with you. And it's just like a pretty decent banner system. It's basically like Wuwa's banner system as far as I can tell, which is decent, you know, for a gacha game. It's not full hoyoification where everything's time limited, and I don't hate it, I don't love it, I'm just kind of neutral to it. Now, as far as like how much currency have I gotten as a free-to-play character, free-to-play player, I've gotten a fair amount. I am just now starting to feel like the initial like, here's all of your stuff, right? Honeymoon phase is kind of wearing out, and the currency, as far as the currency accrued goes, is kind of like lower than before because I've gone through most of the content that I have to do until I hit player level 40, until I hit player level 50, in which case I'll get more of that stuff. But I still have plenty more stuff to go and get rewards from, like we talked about with all of this chaos manifestation stuff. Like this thing's like level 9, right? I've barely done this one. And I've got all this stuff down here to go and get, and I've got the same amount of stuff to go and get for the other planets too. So there's a lot of stuff for me to go and get still, and I, as a free-to-play player, have spent most of my stuff. And I think I'm missing like 4 of the 5 stars in the game. And I have a fair amount of the, what is this down here? Partners. I have a couple of partners as well. I think I've been pulling on the partner banner. I did get 2. I got the same one 2 times. So my striker partner is higher level. So all in all, I've pulled a fair amount of 5 stars. And the funniest thing is I don't really use any of them. None of them are on my main team. I'm always using that trusted team, which is crazy. So as far as pull currency goes, my experience with it so far, I'll give it like a B+, A- ish, you know, A and B. It's not like it's rained pulls down on me like crazy to the point where I have every character in the game or anything. But you know, I'll give it like from like a gacha standpoint, like a B+. And then for future pull currency, I don't want to like give it a grade on that because I haven't, you know, been able to finish all of the content I have now. I haven't seen the real thing here is we haven't seen like the future events, the future stuff that unlocks. And I have level 40 and level 50 stuff content wise still to unlock and do. I don't expect that stuff to have, you know, 7,000 currency to go and pull or anything, but there's probably going to be some stuff in there to get more pulls as well. But if you're a new player, yeah, you can expect a fair amount of pulls. You're going to be able to pull and have fun with the game, even as a free-to-play player, such as myself. So I've been having a crazy good time with this game, and I'm gonna glaze this game. I'm gonna give this a Gacha A. I'm gonna give this like a fucking like 9 out of 10, 9 out of 10, something like that. There's a couple of things that we talked about with the chaos and like not saving my stuff and it being a little weird. I'm gonna mark that down like a half a point minimum. I have had a couple of like, you know, issues with the game like disconnecting me every once in a while, though those have mainly gone away. But those issues I'll dock like another half a point. But the gameplay loop, I just love it too much. This game is literally right up my alley. I'm a card game person. I am someone who loves theory crafting and building stuff, and this game allows me to do that. And if that sounds like it's something you want to try out, all it costs is your time, man. So with this glazing review out of the way, later you guys, later Tressa, God bless out there, and I'll catch you guys. Maybe I won't.